You cannot stress but wonder what is your specific person feeling when you're affirming for them and you're manifesting them. And so, my friend, in this video, you understand exactly what the answer to that question is, but I'm here to warn you that it might not be what you expected, and it might actually surprise you. So, yeah, just keep that in mind. And that being the case, let's get into the topic. So, what your specific person is feeling when you're manifesting them could either be that they are eager and excited to meet you and they're creating a story in their mind about how great of a time you spent together, or they're feeling pushed away and overwhelmed from all the expectations that you're building of what you need to experience together. So it's either one or the other. And now you might wonder, well, what does it depend on? Well, this is exactly what I answer and what we'll discuss, what we'll contemplate about in this video. So that being the case, stay with me until the end. And by the end also, I'll show to you how you can ensure that your specific person not only feels eager and excited to meet you when you affirm for them, but they also create a story about it in their mind and how you can get to that state, like how you can achieve that practically. So if that is something important, stay with me until the end. And now let's directly begin. So feeling is the secret, right? This is basically what Neville states in all of his teaching. Like in all of his books, he's sharing this simple truth. Feeling is the secret. So that being the case, it solely depends from what state you're affirming for your specific person and you're doing those inner visual exercises, visualizations, visual acts, and so on and so forth. So let's have two scenarios here, and I'll also give examples on them if you stay with me. So the first one is that you're feeling a little bit anxious, a little bit insecure, you're worried, you're skeptical whether they like you, whether your specific person likes you or not. And from that state, you start affirming for your specific person. You start doing the visual exercises. You start forcing your consciousness to get into a positive state of your desire already being fulfilled. But here is what happens. Since you cannot ultimately serve two masters, so you cannot be in a resistant state of consciousness and at the same time force yourself to be in a positive state of consciousness when your desire is already being fulfilled. So when you're affirming from that state, anxious, insecure state, what happens is that your specific person will feel not the contents of your affirmations, but the state that they're coming from. So they'll feel pushed away and overwhelmed because it's almost as if you're forcing them, not being respectful of their free will for things with you to move forward. So in this way, like if you're affirming from a negative state, from not surrendered and like not from non-surrendered and like non-attached state, if you're affirming from that state, which is like you're attached to feeling anxious and insecure, you're actually not doing yourself a favor. So it's not working in your benefit, and it's not working in the benefit of your specific person. While on the other hand, if you first surrendered your resistance and then got into a state of like non-attachment, surrender, I'm just good either way, I don't have attachment to the outcome, I'm not putting my specific person on pedestal, I'm not being attached to something needing to happen so that I feel good about myself. No, I'm first being surrendered, feeling surrendered and non-attached, and from that state of non-attachment, then I am affirming and I am visualizing. This is the second scenario now. If from this scenario you affirm and visualize about your specific person, they will be feeling eager and excited to meet you and for things between you to move forward. And they will also create a story in their mind of how this would happen. So they will help you with your visual acts. But this can only happen if you're coming from a state of surrender, from a state of fulfillment, from a state of gratitude, from a state of being excited of meeting your specific person, not coming from a state of anxiety, insecurity, and neediness. Because again, like Neville states that you cannot serve two masters, like you cannot serve both states at the same time. You have to decide. So anytime you're doing imaginal acts like affirmations, you're efforting, you're making efforts to attract your specific person from a state of anxiety, neediness, or insecurity, you're getting the exact opposite. Because Neville states that you cannot think of your desire being fulfilled. You must think from the state of your desire being fulfilled. So because if you think of the state of your desire being fulfilled, you're making it on the outside. You're putting it outside of yourself. And so you're saying to yourself, I am a victim and I need my specific person to change so that I can change within myself. So which is obviously not helping, right? And but when you're coming from a surrendered state of non-attachment, then you're basically thinking from the state of your desire already being fulfilled. You're not putting your specific person on pedestal. You're letting them go. You're letting go of all outcomes, and then you can overwhelm your consciousness with the feeling of your desire already being fulfilled. And then you're serving the master of your ideal, not the master of your limitations. Makes sense, right? And so basically I have found this to reflect in my life consistently and continues to do so. So let me share with you a little two stories. The first story is basically when I was affirming for my specific person, and I was visualizing from this state of neediness and attachment to the outcome that we needed to meet for when we have scheduled to meet. And so I was so excited about it. I was like communicating from that state of neediness. I was sharing all the things that we would do together. And so long story short, like I was being too needy from that state. And what happened was that she actually got ill. And not only she got ill, but she was like, she also felt pushed away. So in sometimes I was being a little bit too arrogant, which was something that she disliked. And so she felt pushed away and overwhelmed. And so it's a funny thing because I was thinking to myself that I was affirming and like I was doing all these imaginal acts, and I was also sharing with her everything that we would do together. But it had the exact opposite effect of what I wanted. And so eventually we didn't meet because she got ill. Like she called this fool. And so next week, what happened is that I decided, okay, complete non-attachment. I made the decision that I will not do any imaginal acts and any affirmations like of what I want to experience with her if I'm coming from a state of neediness, insecurity, and anxiety. So if I'm coming from that state, I won't have like I won't outreach her. I won't send her a message. I won't like yeah. I will not approach her. I won't do anything. So I'll basically just surrender my state to love. I made this decision, and I'll share with you exactly how you can do that in a moment. But so by making this decision, then I first decided I'll let go. I'll come to this surrender state of non-attachment. And from that state, I was already feeling grateful and fulfilled within myself. And I was not needing her anymore. And so what happened is that like she was the one who like pulled herself to me. So it's like yeah, this is basically she felt positively eager, and then she wanted like to reschedule our meeting, and she made all the efforts of that. She made all the actions for that, and it was she who was showing her love and affection. And so there is always this balance, like in any relationship that you want to have, there is always this balance in which from time to time you'll be the one who is like making more efforts, and then eventually you will surrender, and then your specific person will be the one who is doing more effort. So there is always this balance, and you never have to assume the fact that like one state will remain there for eternity. No, it will shift. But so for me, it shifted exactly when I made this decision. And the decision I made was to basically give all my worries, all my like all the insecurities, all the anxiety I was feeling to her back to love. So I wasn't making any contact from that state. I made this decision. And now with this decision already being made, things are so much easier. It's like everything falls so effortlessly because now I'm not forcing things, right? I'm not being attached to the outcome. I'm not putting her on a pedestal. I'm first getting into the state of surrender, of non-attachment. And from that state of surrender and non-attachment, when I actually make an effort, when I invest my energy, when I do all the imaginal acts, all the affirmations, when I start living, like start imagining circumstances that I would like us to experience, then I am not putting them on the outside. I am able to experience them on my inside and feel fulfillment from that, since I am coming from that state of non-attachment and surrender. And so the decision I made, and this is the same decision that you can also make, is that whenever you think of your specific person from a state of anxiety, insecurity, neediness, you just surrender it. You give it back to love. Why do you give it back to love? Because you understand that love has a greater intelligence than yours. And so love knows better than you who is the person with whom you have like a long-term romantic relationship than you know with your limited mind. And so you're being humble. You're not being naive, and you're not being too prideful and not being too attached to like how you want things to manifest for certain. Because here is the thing, like everything is on the inside and feeling is the secret. And if you're thinking from the state of anxiety, insecurity, and neediness, well, no matter how positively you're thinking, it won't have an effect, because the state that it's coming from and the feeling is the secret. The state that it's coming from is resistance. And so what you attract, more resistance. And then circumstances will not unfold in your liking. So by letting go, by getting into a state of surrender, non-attachment, this is the moment when you start doing affirmations and imagine awards. You can't force it. You can't use these tools to force yourself into the positive state of consciousness. No, first you have to release from consciousness the state that you're now entertaining, which might be resistant. And then once it is released, from there, from presence awareness, from non-attachment, start doing all those exercises, and then your specific person will make the move. So this is basically what is it all about, my friend. It's all about inner mastery. So what you do practically, again, well, anytime you feel insecure, anxious, needy, and you want to do some affirmations so that you can manipulate yourself to get into a positive state of consciousness, you don't do that. What you do is that you say to yourself inwardly, okay, I understand that from this state, nothing will move forward the way I want it, because this state is the opposite of what I want to experience. That being the case, I decide to sacrifice that state, to give it back to love. And I know, in my heart, I know, love is here. And it will, like, from love, I'll feel neutral, surrendered, non-attached. And from that love, then I can imagine what I want. So you give it to a higher power. You give your resistance to higher power. And from that higher power, then you start imagining. Because otherwise, you just self-sabotage. And no need to waste time, right? So yeah, this is basically everything I wanted to share, my friend. This is the difference of like whether your specific person will feel eagerly excited to meet you and for things between you to move forward, or they will feel overwhelmed and pushed away. It depends on your state of consciousness, because feeling is the secret. That being the case, my friend, if you like this video, like it. If you got some value out of it, if you had those aha moments, let me know in the comments below. This inspires me so much for making future videos on the topic. And it could also help some of the other people who watch this channel. So if you also want this video to reach more people, like it, comment down below, subscribe to the channel, push how is it, like this bell notification, click on it so that you get notifications for my new videos. And I would love to see you around in my next video.